Hello. Coffee. I wasn't ready for that. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Chub Thoughts, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Chris.
I'm Junie.
Hello, Miss Junie.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. I see that
We're color coded today.
Yeah.
Why are we wearing similar colors today?
Well, Junie. Oh my God, my hair's a mess. Today is our special.
Our first special?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Valentine holiday.
Valentine's Day is around the corner, isn't
Yes.
it? For all you lovebirds out there.
And friends, don't forget friends.
Yes, friends.
And family love each other too.
Yes, we
It's
do.
not just for lovebirds. But anyway, I didn't have an adequate shirt, so I had to use a tank top.
Are you liking the shirt I'm
I'm
featuring
digging
today?
this.
I'm bare chested and bare armed.
Woo!
What do you think?
I mean,
Too much?
it's showing a lot.
Is it too? Do I need?
I mean, a lady never shows
Oh!
that.
The indecency.
But maybe, the hoodies are always messed up. I want to.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna err on the side of caution and present myself more with decorum.
So I've been told that I'm very uptight on the show.
Really?
So
I would have never noticed.
I want to just shake it all off and be a little, loose.
You know what? You might like the water. The water might help you with that.
This water. Where
Yes.
is this from today?
Well, Chris and I are featuring different types of water. They from Texas. That's it.
And then also people have said about my stains on my shirt, the water stains.
Yeah, I was hoping that the glasses or the mugs would help that, but they're a little warm today, so we'll see.
Anyway, let's start the show.
Valentine's Day! Woo!
So we have a topic today on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a lot of anxiety out there when it comes to the weeks before, the month before. You just got out of the holidays with Christmas,
Right.
and New Year's, and Thanksgiving. You're trying to lose weight.
Mm.
There's a lot of pressure for that.
Summer's coming real quick, boo.
And
Real
so the plans and what to do with your partners and stuff like that. So
You know the really cool thing about this is that usually Chris and I are usually on team, #single for this holiday, and this year that's not the case.
Well,
we're on opposing teams this year, girl.
that was last year too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This year, no. I mean, okay, all right, we'll let that one slide. But this year, for sure, we are on opposing teams, so it's a very interesting.
You're right. Last year I was technically single. You are correct.
That technicality, though.
I
But
was single.
right, single,
But we were in negotiations.
but exclusive. Single, but exclusive.
I can't.
Thank you, Mario.
Anyway, today I wanted to talk about love and how we can identify loving each other.
I mean, what a wonderful topic to talk about on St. Valentine's Day.
Right. So, Janito, what's love for you?
This is an awesome question, and a question that is so difficult to answer. I think that all of us have our own specific individual definitions, and the really awesome thing is that it changes over time. Like, you remember when we were kids, love was just this grandiose, this big old, I can't wait to fall in love kind of thing, and it's this, for me, I don't know if it was for you, maybe because it was, I'm a, #teen dealer, but for me...
No, it was. I grew up, like, when I was 5, I would envision, my mom would watch the Spanish soap operas, like the novelas.
the telenovelas? Oh my god, yes.
And the way they would get married and fall away.
The big old grand weddings and the horse-drawn carriage and the white...
Or the kidnapping on the horse.
Right. That happened on the actual wedding day, or that the bride didn't want to marry the groom, which is going with a lover that she's been knowing for like 27 years. Like, it's a drama. But to answer your question, over the span of time, my definition for love has, I think, become more grounded versus versus this kind of ideal, maybe fantasy. I used to think that love was this all-consuming, all-developed, overwhelming thing that was the driving force of everyone's life, right? Because without love, and I still feel this particular part, but without love, life isn't really worth living. I think for me now, love is definitely something that is encompassed in two instances, a emotional sense and in a practical sense, which is going to be really, really boring, but let me explain how. For me, love is a feeling that comes over you that is an eternal connector, right? Like if you love someone, if you fall in love with someone, then you're always going to have that connection with that person, and that connection, that unseen force is love. But I also think...
Are you able to control it though?
I think that's where the confusion or maybe the controversy comes in with love, that a lot of us have this idea that love isn't controllable, that we're not in control when we're in love. I agree with that to an extent, up until the point where you can identify that you are going to love this person. Because I feel the practical part of this is that it's also time. Love is time. Love is effort. Love is an action, not only this entity. You know what I mean? But I do feel that love is an entity in itself. Similar to like, if you're a religious out there, like how Christianity teaches, the Holy Trinity, God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like, I think that love is an entity within itself that is independent from everything, but is a connector to everything, if that makes sense. Catch that. Connect something that's independent.
It has a personality.
But are we going to do that? We're going to do that. How about you tell me first? What is your
entity?
What is your definition of love? What is love for you?
Well, we'll come back to that question.
I mean, we can.
Anyway,
by the way, we argue about this topic all the time. I think it's one of the very first debates that we had when we were getting to know each other. And we would always push each other's boundaries back and forth. I think there was actually some time where we actually got mad at each other for some of the stuff that we said to each other about this topic particularly. So you're going to see a lot of back and forth about things because we fundamentally don't agree on a lot of topics when it comes to love.
Love is an entity?
It's just, I feel
Are you
that it's an entity in itself. Yes. And it's a connector to everything.
So it goes around touching people that...
I mean, why not? Why not? It could be literally in the ether right now, girl. There's all this mess right here. This is all love, girl. All of it. Hey, love. How you doing, girl?
And what does she act like? There you go.
What does love act like?
Yeah.
It's a manifestation within ourselves, so it's individual to us. It's expressive by us.
So if you've been touched by love, there's nothing.
Oh, that's a beautiful statement. Yes, if you've been touched by love, oh, girl, yes, that can be chills, baby. Yes. But wait, let's not go there first. What do you think love is?
Well, as you alluded to in your practical sense, love is an absolute action. It's a decision that you make. It's a decision you can unmake at any time. At any
Unmake?
point.
As in you can stop loving someone?
Yes, absolutely. Love is an action that you decide at some point. Just like going to work, just like mowing the lawn, just like going to the supermarket for dinner. Love is something you gotta decide to do every single day, and it's to that person or persons that you're wanting to love. You love your parents, you love your family, your sisters, your siblings, your cousins. You love work, you love your spouse.
Right, okay.
You make a decision to do that. The moment you stop doing that, the moment you decide to stop and you want to love something else, is the moment you stop loving them.
So you're saying that love without action is not love?
Exactly.
I agree with that, but you're saying that love ends? Like there's an actual expiration date?
Well, it's because I think the affection or the connection, the attraction that you have with the person is different. For example, if you and I today start talking,
okay,
and 10 years passed, I didn't love you through those 10 years. The only love was the love that was acted on.
okay. I mean, I agree with you to a certain
If I
extent.
said hello, hey, what's up? I miss you. What's been going on? That's loving. That's nurturing. But it ceases the moment you stop nurturing it.
See, we disagree in that particular sense, because I think the instant that love is established, that then there is no deconnection from that. I do agree, though, that it's an action. In order for you to express love and to demonstrate love, there needs to be action. There needs to be expression. There needs to be work associated to that, and you have to.
You said it was an entity,
but
so I don't
in of itself, it is an entity. It's what is the constant as far as your emotion is concerned. So I draw the same example. We stopped talking in 10 years. Are you saying that if we were to see each other, granted the means to why we stopped talking would be relatively important in that particular scenario, but say that we separated for a specific and it was an agreed upon reason, right? Like, let's just put it in an ideal situation. Are you saying that the love that we felt for each other will not be non-existent, that it wouldn't be an ability for us to reconnect?
Well, there's a difference. You're saying would it not be existent? That yes and no. Here is how.
Okay.
It's like a bucket that you fill up of water.
Okay.
You put in water, right,
Uh-huh.
and it fills up maybe a quarter.
Right.
But when you stop filling it,
Right.
stops.
So in that analogy,
You'll always have that one quarter though.
which one's love? The bucket or the water?
The water.
The water is the love.
Yes.
For me, the bucket's love. It exists
What?
in it of itself.
Yeah.
How much you put into that bucket is how closely related and how closely expressive and how close you are to that individual. But love,
No, because then
is
it
the bucket.
removes your accountability, it removes your decision making, and that's how you get blurred. That's how Troy happened in the war with Sparta.
She went historic, girl. Yes. All right, but think of
It was infatuated with
infatuation is not love. Infatuation is not
What's the
love.
difference?
Infatuation, desire,
Attraction.
passion, attraction, those are not love. They are separate from love.
No, that's what it takes to love. You're affecting.
But
your
those
love.
are expressions of love. They are not. They're
Yes,
not
but the
love.
process of doing that is love.
Expressing love.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Like,
expression
they're
of
separate.
love. No, the expression of love. Come on, people. What do you?
I'm gonna need y'all to comment below. Which one of us is crazy?
It's not an entity. It's not like a floating spaghetti monster somewhere.
I'm not. You're
touching
giving
your.
it-
You're gonna love
You're
her.
giving it form. I'm not giving it form. I'm giving it substance.
Is it like a god?
I
Is
would
it like
say- you know
the
what?
Greek
I mean, that's a
said
beautiful.
Aphrodite?
I would say that, and this is something that I used to firmly believe. I still kind of firmly believe that, but there's a passage in the Bible for all my Christians out there and all my Bible buffs. There is
There
a
we go.
passage in the Bible that's in 2 Corinthians. Look it up. It's a very beautiful passage. But it states what love is. And it expresses love in all of these adjectives that are beautiful. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not so
Yes,
sneaky.
and they're all actions.
Yes, but it does not. It also states in there
If
that
you are not
it is
patient-
an entity.
If
It
you
is
are not
also-
patient, you are not loving.
In that same chapter, it says that love is an entity, and love is equated to
Why are we
God.
shouting? Why do minorities shout? Sorry.
Point in case, in that passage, love is equated to divinity. It is an independent source that completely is ruled on itself. It has its own accord. I don't say that it's got a personality. It's not like Bonquisha down the street. She's not going to give you all this back and forth. But I will say that it is a separate entity that is used to connect us. And I will agree that without nurturing, without feeding it, without expressing it, that you do have an instance where love does tend to dwindle. But love, because it's independent, can reconnect.
It's like, it's the time factor, right? If you don't spend time with the person, if you don't invest time with the person, you're by default not loving them. And some days you can love a person and some days you can't
But
love.
see-
You can't say we love each other while we're sleeping. We're
Why not?
not.
Why not?
Are you?
Why aren't we?
Because we're not acting on that love.
But love exists.
If of course it exists, the bucket and the water's still there.
And so is the bucket.
And if you leave that water there, it gets stagnant.
It doesn't get
You
stagnant.
need to refresh it, and you need to fill
See,
it
no,
up.
see, you're now changing the parameter of your argument. Because why would we care about the stagnation of the water if the bucket's holding the
All
water?
you have is the love that was given. If somebody if somebody you love dies,
yes,
they stop loving you. But what you had with them,
but their love exists.
The love that you had with them
Yes.
always exists.
Yes.
We agree on that.
Yes.
Will always exist. You can't remove that.
Right.
Because those are memories. Unless you remove your memories, even then.
So wouldn't you say then
if
that
you
love
get
is a
Alzheimer's
constant?
and you lose memory?
That's independent. Wouldn't you say then that love is a constant that's independent from everything else? Because it's connecting. It gives us the opportunity to reach out, to be able to still express, to be able to still continue. If it was something that was expressed merely by action, that was only manifested by action, the instant the action was gone, love would cease to exist. But we agree that love is a constant. So how is it not an independent source, but used as a conduit? How? Explain that.
It's saved. It never goes away because it's embedded in our memories.
Right.
As soon as we lose that or we stop
So
loving, you can't add more, then you stop. You stop loving. A dead person is not gonna love you.
But the love that they had.
They're
the
dead.
love.
As much as you want them to love you, they're dead. They're gone. That's it. It's done. Finito.
I mean, in that particular context, I agree with you because they're not around to express that love. But the
so
love
it can
that
be an
was
entity
there,
somewhere loving you.
yes, because it moved on. It has phases. It has cycles. It has
Girl,
elements.
bye.
It does. It's like the moon girl. She got phases. That was a very accurate analogy too. Does not love have phases?
Okay, well, I will accept that.
Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I
It
get it?
doesn't. It could not have phases.
It could not, but it does.
It could have phases. What just happened here? I think you've had too much water.
I just wanted to argue. I just wanted to argue is what just happened. I'm waiting for you to see my point.
Okay, so can we move? I'm not seating,
Oh,
but we gotta move on.
okay. Well, comment below. Which one of us do you agree with?
Team
and why?
entity hashtag team entity
Love entity. Yeah.
or team action.
Oh.
Team action. Love is an action.
Well, I mean, we agree that love is an action. Practically, love is an action, and I agree to that statement. But I do not, and wholeheartedly disagree that love is not a separate entity because it's
Hold on,
a
I gotta
concept.
fix my hair.
Let's hold for 5 seconds while she fixes her. What was it? This quiff girl.
Right.
The quiff.
I called it a queef at the barber shop. I called it a queef.
We went to go get
Are
our
we
hair
allowed to
considered.
say that?
Yeah, we can call it a queef.
I didn't know what it was or the production.
We were at just a short little story. We were at the barbershop today because we wanted to look super cute for our Saint Valentine Day girl.
And you do.
Thank you. You do too. I love his hair. Oh, I'm sorry. His freaking hair is wonderful.
Okay.
Anyway, but we were at the barber shop and he's looking at different possibilities for his hair. And he's like, I want to get this queef done, girl. And we're like looking at her like, do you know what a queef is? It's quiff. Q-U-I-F.
Apparently, it is when you pass air through a vagina.
Right. A queef.
A queef.
A quiff is what he has on his head.
And a quiff is when you kind of go like whoop whoop whoop. What?
That quiff.
Not a queef. It's a
That quiff.
Anyway.
I can't relate. Sorry.
Let's move on. So regardless, okay, let's forget about what love is. Obviously, we will never agree on that because
And that's completely fine. And it's okay. And that's a really
because
that's a
we
really
know
awesome
that
thing.
it's not an entity.
We know that love expression is
It's an
individual.
action. that
It's
you
an
choose
individual choice. Okay? Love expression is an individual choice, and you are more than welcome to
Yeah,
have
it's
your
an
opinion.
individual choice.
Your own opinion
You're right.
about it.
It's an individual choice.
However, it is not only an action. That's my piece. Thank you.
Anyway, the next topic. How do we love each other?
Oh.
How do we express? I think this is where we agree. on
Yes, I think
expressing.
on the expression, on the practical
The process
application
of loving.
the
somebody.
practical application of love.
Okay.
Continue. Yes.
So, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about the love languages.
Yes, absolutely.
If you haven't heard about the love languages, I would encourage you to
Mm.
look at it. Basically, it's there's 5 languages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, and I don't even know who the author is. Shame on me.
Yeah.
I really don't know who it is.
It's a really common book, though. I think when you go to school, when you go to school and you take psychology course, especially if you're a psychology major, one of the topics that you discuss is the 5 love languages. It's based off of a theory that a very prominent psychologist, who I can't remember what his name is, developed and wrote a book on.
Right. And essentially the five love languages are the site that we're basing ourselves. We took a test.
Yes.
To get how we want to be loved, and it's all about you. How do you want to be loved? And understanding that, you'll be able to identify, not only letting others know, hey, this is how I like being loved, but also knowing what others like for them. Like if Junito takes a test and he tells me this is how I like to be loved, that actually helps me be able to love him better.
I mean, and point in case, it's one of the things that really helped us develop our individual relationship.
Right.
And also the relationships that we have with other people, especially the ones that we're really super close with. The quiz really gave us an indication of who we are as far as this. And keep it in mind that these psychological tests are not exact sciences. There are the opportunity to be able to get...
Psychologists would argue that.
Well, for all y'all psychologists. It's not an exact science because it's not a 100% you're this and you're that. There are mixes. We are individuals. And the tests are relative to the transparency.
And you're going to have one preference. Usually you'll have one that's more prominent.
Right, the prominent one, yes.
But you'll still have everybody likes to be loved by all of these at any given time.
At any given time.
Yeah. It's just a preference. So the five languages are words of affirmation, 1.
Yes, team, words of affirmation.
2, acts of service, team acts of service. 3, receiving gifts. Anybody likes
I love me some
gifts.
gifts. I don't need them, but I do love them when I get them.
Be appreciative of
I
them.
am very appreciative of them.
I don't need them.
But I love them when I get them.
As you cover your...
Right, this button is messing
Just
with
show
me.
your cleavage, girl.
Bro, I'm trying
Just
to...
unbutton it. Show it to the world.
Mama Pignon, I'm sorry. You did
Just
it.
show it to everybody.
It's hot in here. The fumes, girl. Sorry. Okay, so words of affirmation, acts of service.
Receiving gifts.
Receiving gifts, okay.
4, quality time. Which is different from the 5th one, which is physical touch.
Right. Quality time, physical touch.
Thanks, Doctor.
Bro, this water is real.
I can't. You're not drinking water on the show anymore.
It's water.
I
It's water.
can't.
This is all water. This water is just not filtered.
It's
Flint.
kind of... did you just say that?
I did! I don't think anybody caught it though. But yeah. Lord Jesus.
We promise we're gonna try not to get political.
I think we should.
Some people have asked for that.
Yeah, I think comment below if you want us to have a political discussion.
Or can we focus on the
We could.
today? Anyway, so words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time,
Physical touch.
Physical touch,
That water.
psychological.
That water.
psychological touch.
So Chris, which love language is your prominent
So
love?
mine is acts of service.
Acts of service.
So it could be minute. I'm not asking for a slave here.
Right.
But if you were to open the door for me, I love chivalry.
She really
It's just, oh my god, it just makes me feel loved. It makes me feel like warm and fuzzy.
Like you can see the little teardrops that are
If
forming.
you help me with something that I'm carrying, if you make me something, you have made me some delicious dishes, and I highly appreciate it. I feel very loved.
She's very loved in this world.
It's really good. She's a great chef. So, but I think that anything that you do for me, as small as it might be, it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. I feel loved in that process. What about you?
I am definitely prominently words of affirmation. And it is a profound alignment to that love language. I have, through the course of my life, I have felt that I have not really been given a lot of affirming statements. Like, you know, the ones that a lot of us take for granted, like, I'm proud of you, I love you, you're doing great, I appreciate you, these things, and these little simple phrases that a lot of people kind of disregard and are not really something that they need in order for them to continue on, are things that reinforce me so much. I mean, to the point of tears. If I am having a really crappy day or I'm super stressed out, all you have to do is tell me something that's affirming to me, and instantly it changes my mood. Instantaneously. Like, it's the best way that I feel connected to a person, that I feel loved.
I love you.
I love you too, Chris.
I'm
You're
not
gonna make me cry. Stop.
really? I can't. See, I don't need that. And it kind of goes to how we define love. Did you know?
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. It's a really awesome thing to be able to associate your ideas to something that's actually established that you can actually reference. Like, it's a beautiful thing. So I urge everyone, take this quiz and find that your love.
5lovelanguages.com. We'll post it in the description box.
Absolutely.
So
So I got a question for you. How, and we can use our relationship, or you can use any relationship that you have. How, after taking this test and knowing these love languages and how they're applied, how has this information helped you in building the relationships that you've been fostering?
So, I mean, it's been great because I started to share the love languages with people that I potentially would think, okay, this can go somewhere. So I incorporate that in our everyday conversation. And we took the test independently, and then we shared the results. And it really helped. Like, when I met Kimario, it so helped us because his is a combination. It was very close between quality time and physical touch.
Okay.
But his outweighs quality time.
Okay.
So he needs to spend, even though we may not be touching, he needs that quality time to be spent.
Okay.
And so he could be playing video games and Madden. I could be playing my PC video game, playing like.
You're them gamers.
Or we could be watching something, and I think that's why the long distance kind of worked. As somebody who requires more physical touch, it wouldn't be so good.
Right.
But for us, it worked out. And for me, acts of service, he was able to do. He's a super caring guy. I love you, bye.
She cute.
Happy Valentine's Day. For example, for Valentine's Day this week, we have planned a whole day to ourselves.
Yay, that's awesome.
And we are going to just hang out and love each other.
That love.
Even though we're long distance, we're not able to be together on that day, but it's going to be a special day for both of us.
That's awesome. Yay.
So
Yay.
I think that this really, really helped us, and it also helped you and I
Yes,
as
absolutely.
best friends, because we would have bumps on the road to the point that we almost stopped being friends. But understanding this was able to give us that assurance of how we like to be loved. I shared it with Scott, my roommate, and it helped us on being able to love each other and understand each other and how to give to each other. And so I recommend it for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely 100% agree to that. Knowing your own independent and individual love language and being able to know the people that you are close with in your life is a really great tool to be able to help reinforce a lot of the things that we struggle with sometimes in relationship building, not only romantically but in friendship ones as well, is being able to understand and identify that this person wants or is the person that feels loved when you do this the most. And it's not targeted, it's not manipulative, it's just genuinely who that person is. And if you want to ensure that they feel the love that you have for them, this is the best way. For me, words of affirmation does that to a high degree. And closely under that is quality time. So similar to Kimario, I don't need to do a bunch of stuff. I don't need to have these grandiose dates and all that stuff. We can be literally in the same room and not talking to each other. But in that time and in that space, we're together. And that to me is valuable. You know what I mean? So I completely echo your sentiment about the long distance thing, because in my past where I've had long distance relationships, they have worked more accurately, they have lasted that long because the quality time was there.
Right.
And that quality time was relative to how much we were putting in effort. Granted, I would have loved to have the quality time physically in the same space, like you would. But I think just the effort to be able to get on, a video conference or a video cam session and be able to be in the same time with that person, talking with them, dialoguing, being able to hang out is a great thing for people who are quality time for sure.
So since you're our most eligible bachelor on the show, what do you look for in a guy as far as the words of
Ooh, girl, I
affirmation?
like this question. Yeah. Ask it again.
What do you look for in a guy who needs to provide you the words of affirmation?
I think for me, First and foremost, understanding that words are powerful. Words, everything that you say has meaning. Everything that you say has meaning. And every word has an accurate context. So when you say something, say exactly what you mean. It's difficult for us sometimes, especially if we're emotional creatures, that we have a struggle to be able to articulate what it is that we're feeling and what it is that we're thinking. But the words that you're using are very powerful. So keep that in mind. When you say something to me, I'm going to hear it exactly how you're saying it. So if you mean or intend something else, it's not going to be cute. It's not going to be cute. But on the flip side of that, because words have so much power, you can get me like that. And I shouldn't have said that, but I'm glad I did, because it's a little bit vulnerable and it's a little scary.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, no, like it's the double-edged sword, right? If you go the wrong route, you're not gonna get it.
Can you fish out when somebody doesn't mean something?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had a recent experience where insincerity was prominent, running rampant in this mug, and I was able to pinpoint it and shared it with the group, and they were able to see what I was seeing. And I mean, I'm telling you, words have so much power. So be careful what you say, because people who are paying attention, we see.
Well, that's all the time we have today.
That was it.
It was fast,
Oh
right?
my god, we should definitely talk about this topic again.
That's what we say every week.
We should do it for Sweetest Day. You know what Sweetest Day is?
No, what the hell is that?
Oh my god, so Valentine's Day is the heterosexual
Like,
holiday.
please
Sweetest
don't.
Day. Actually, no, I mean, that's wrong. Okay, so Valentine's Day is supposed to be the day for the women's, right? That's the women's holiday. Sweetest Day, which is in October, is for men. It's supposed to be the day that you romantically take care of your man. Valentine's Day is supposed to be when you romantically take care of your woman.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So each of us have, each of us, men and women.
So we'll change that instead of man and women, because we're non-binary.
Right, because we're non-binary, not conforming.
But we are part of the dichotomy of tops and bottoms.
Right, correct. That's what we appropriately would like to identify as. So yes,
So Valentine's Day is for
bottoms. Sweetest Day is for tops.
Tops. Okay, interesting. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In October, huh?
October. Yeah,
Sounds good.
second Saturday of the month, or the third Saturday of the month.
Sounds good. Well, that's all the time we have today. I did want to leave us with the quote.
I love your
The
quote.
quote.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
I can't with you. Anyway, this time it's of course about love, but it cuts to the core of who we are.
Okay.
And this was done by Andre Guide.
Okay.
And he says, it is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not.
Oh.
How many times are we trying to be
Oh my
loved
god, girl, you trying to make me cry
for what
today?
we're not? I'm just saying,
It
sometimes
is so true. I don't care if you hate me, if you actually know me, but if you love me for something you think that's another episode. Let's move.
Anyway, happy Valentine's Day to all of you guys. Make sure you treat your friends and your loved ones and your
Everything in between.
your
girl.
sex partners from that day. Them booty calls. Anyway, from Chef Thoughts, we love you guys. Bye.